Am I supposed to do the intro now? Sneaky Geek, this is Logan, episode 18. Yeah, was that good?
Round 3.
It's like round 6.
Yeah, it's round 6.
Anyway, hi everyone. My name is Bryce Rankins, and this is Brian Romero.
Hello.
And this is a podcast, and I'm indicating and looking at Logan, is Logan.
He's indicating me, so hi guys.
Hi Logan.
Hi guys.
Hey Logan.
How you
What's
doing?
up?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
I'm doing pretty
Yeah? Why are you doing pretty good?
good. I saw Infinity War.
Oh my
Oh,
god. Ah! It was so good.
Oh.
It was so good.
It was so good. Even
It
the second
was
time
so good.
around.
Hold.
Can we keep that in?
Bless you.
Maybe.
Bless you.
So, as you might have guessed from that sneeze and the sound of my voice, Bryce is sick.
A little bit. That's why we're sitting over here,
It's true. They're on the other side of the table.
kind of the other side of the room.
Very close
The
to
other
each
side
other,
of the
but
room.
very
Yeah.
far from
Yeah,
Bryce.
they're both hovering a second mic, this is pretty cool. 2 mic
Yeah.
setup into that. So we just saw Infinity War and pardon my language. Okay, this is gonna get really spoilery.
Really spoilery. There's probably a lot of cussing.
super
Listen,
spoilery.
if
Like
you
usual.
I'm gonna
if you
fucking cuss.
haven't actually seen the movie, step one, get
What the
off the
hell?
internet.
Just
Get
get
off
outta
the
here.
internet. Go. Don't look at anything else. Don't look at Twitter. Don't look at Tumblr. Don't look at
You're
Instagram.
probably
don't
in
look
your
at
car
Pinterest.
anyways driving. Just find a
Put your
theater.
phone away. Just drive to a theater. The only thing your internet should be doing is getting you a GPS and getting you to the theater so you can go watch this movie and not have it spoiled, because we're going to be talking a lot of blah, blah, blah,
Yup.
blah,
And you
blah.
should go in as clean as you can.
Like shower and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because really those theaters are full of people, and you don't want to stink that place up any more than it already
No,
does.
no.
I went to the movies 3 times this week, and I am thoroughly convinced that my time in those public settings is why I am sick right now.
Probably.
I would guess so.
Yeah. I saw Isle of Dogs.
Ooh.
It was nice. I saw Ready Player One.
Yeah.
It was exciting. However, neither of those ended with my jaw on the fucking floor.
Yup.
In the way that
Mhm.
Oh yeah, so yeah, if you haven't done the whole like turn this off because there's spoilers things, do so
Do it
now.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Okay, those assholes gone yet?
Yeah, what's wrong? No, I'm not getting back.
They didn't shut the door.
Rude. And
Anyway,
we're back.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Coming back here.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, you already listened to one of 3 things happened. You've already watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care about spoilers, or you are the 2 people in the living room right now who have to listen to me talk. Those would be my roommates.
Say hi, guys.
They said hi.
They went back. Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking to the audience, not so much you guys. But hey,
I mean, if you want to
that's
say
cool.
hi back, this is your
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
This is your moment.
Yeah.
Broke the fourth wall.
Anyway,
It's very Deadpool-y of
You
us.
are
that's
Deadpool.
another podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another podcast.
Coming
so,
up.
Boom. We got it.
Okay, we got all the things check marked off. Thanks for coming, guys. It was great. Everyone died, and we're good. Later.
Cool.
Yeah, is there Marvel anymore?
Everyone's dead.
There's always Marvel anymore.
Everyone's dead.
You saw the movie, I saw the movie.
I saw it twice.
Yeah,
You-
Brian
so you
saw it
should be
twice.
even
Brian
more-
went 4 days.
I went. It was okay. It was a solid 3.5 days where I couldn't talk about it unless it was with the person I went to see it with who brought me along.
Yeah.
But he was busy at work a lot, and then I was busy at work a lot. But I can finally talk about it now.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, I bet that was obnoxious. Okay, so the movie opens with
As
Like,
Guardians.
Asgardians
Messed
putting out
up.
a distress signal. No Korg,
No,
No,
me.
No. Everybody's dead. Already.
and all we see is one Heimdall,
Jacked up.
jacked up. No Valkyrie.
No, I was wondering where she was. If anybody, she should have also been around.
Yeah, I'm
and
not
then
sure what
get
that
killed
was
on screen.
That was
maybe?
surprising. Yeah.
Or I don't know. Maybe she's still around and
He did say though at one point, Thor said he killed half the people and
the
left.
Asgard, yeah.
So I feel like some of them, like if they want to bring them back, Korg, Meek, and Valkyrie are definitely still characters. In the MCU.
yeah. Anyway, so then friggin' Loki, like, oh man, we can't trust Loki. And then you're like, oh yes we can. And then we're like, oh man, we can't trust Loki. And then we're like,
Oh, yes, we can?
Yes we can. And then we're
And
like,
they're
oh
like,
no.
You can't trust Loki because Loki's dead.
Because Loki's super dead. The deadest he's ever been.
Oh yeah, like literally.
There's never been a more dead Loki
Like
than
it-
this dead Loki.
At least
10 minutes
98%
in.
dead.
Like bloodshot eyes, like that was the most
super
realistic
pale.
choking
That was
in
that
the
was the
air
most
scene I've ever seen.
in the Marvel movies. Like that was.
Oh yeah, that was probably the most brutal death I think I've ever seen in a
I
Marvel
think
movie.
this whole movie was just brutal.
I think so. Yeah.
And then Heimdall got stabbed in the chest.
Yeah.
And he's super dead now.
And this is only the first 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and we haven't even seen Earth yet. And then we went to Earth, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
God, there was so much to this there was so much to this goddamn movie.
There's 70 characters in this movie.
Are there really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That was the original count as of like months ago, and they're like, oh, like there's 70 characters, like legitly 70 characters. There's probably a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I don't know. Either way, there's.
I love that you just abbreviated legitimate to legit, but then added the ly anyway. Legitly.
Yeah, it's a word.
That is a word.
Yeah,
I would say it's a word.
Legitimately?
that's not a word.
That's
Well, you have to agree that legit is or isn't a word first.
sure, but if it's more of a
it's,
verb,
well, Bryce, is legit a word or not?
I would say so.
Well, then you can add the ly at the end.
But why?
So,
Anyways,
Anyways, so then they were in the Sanctum Sanctorum, and that was insane. And no, then we were at Iron Man. I don't even remember
it
everything
was
that happened.
Iron Man.
Yeah,
and
then they were in the Sanctum Sanctorum, and then they cut over to Iron Man, and Iron Man was fantastic.
yeah.
And
Iron Man was. I mean, we hadn't seen Iron Man kind of at his best since Avengers 2.
yeah,
Like Tony Stark being his badass, snarky self.
even still in two, he's so preachy. Like this is the first time we've seen him where he wasn't preachy. He's been preachy since Avengers 1.
Yeah.
What?
Even in Spider-Man, he was kind of like that too.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Not that it was a bad thing.
No, but Spider-Man's different. Like he's like Spider-Man. I'm trying to keep you alive and not have you constantly get yourself into trouble because your aunt's gonna kill me. You know.
Your hot aunt's gonna kill me.
Yeah. Which
That's the only reason.
But in Iron Man 3, like it's this big preachy thing. In Avengers 2, he's like, no, we have to protect the world and put a suit of armor around the world. And then Avengers 3.5, let's pretend it's a Captain America, or 2.5, let's pretend it's Captain America movie.
Because it was Avengers.
It was just the anti-Avengers. But like in that one, like once again, like preachy.
Yeah.
And like still kind of PTSD from going through the thing. And in this one, like it comes up, but he's like able to face it. And I feel like this is a long time coming. I fully expect.
But also it's been 2 years since Ultron, so he's had a lot of time to get his shit together.
Yeah.
I think one thing they did really well in this one was, in his previous movies, his whole subplot and internal conflicts were based out of these like idealistic and kind of politically charged things. And in this one, in Infinity War, his internal conflict is much more personal because it's about like the ones he holds close and everything. I mean, they use Peter Parker as his like
son.
Yeah, his son. It's like his emotional link throughout the film, and I think that was really well done on the writer's part.
Logan, what do you do?
I'm a film student at the moment, cinematographer.
So yeah, I just say that because there's quite the qualification. Let's qualify a little further. When did you get into comic?
I've only been into comics for the last 2 years. Like really into it.
Really?
Yeah, really. And that was kind of like started on by you guys. But the thing is, like,
you're welcome.
Thank you. But I don't know. With these characters, I grew up with them anyway. Even though I never really got into comic book reading, but I always loved the universe and the characters. I watched the hell out of the shows. I watched all the movies, and I had all the video games. Like
and a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, I think that was. I just never got into the books themselves. So I've been so I know the Avengers.
You've been
universe,
a fan for a long
not
time.
the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been a fan for a long time. Just not reading the books.
Cool.
Yeah,
Which is okay.
I got you.
Yeah. I mean, my first time reading comic books, I think I was 23, 22, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of comics here and there, like occasionally my dad would bring home a Spider-Man comic or something like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't really read a ton until Brian got me into comics and lending me the stack he did because of the lead up to Civil War.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, because of a conversation I had with you about something I had talked to with Tommy Isbell.
Oh yeah.
In the barbershop. Like I was at a shop getting a haircut, and then I was like, hey, Tommy's telling me this and this and this is happening in the comic books. And you're like, yeah, this and this and this also happened. And I was like, what?
You're like, what?
And then you were like, here, read this. And then that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship, Louis.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
times.
so I was about, oh God, I was about your age was a sentence that just came out of my mouth.
Back in my day.
Thanks, Dad.
So this movie, holy shit.
movie.
And then we went to space.
So like right off the bat, hold on. Let's just say in general, this movie started off just intense and crazy, and it didn't stop for the entire
It
2.5
really didn't.
hours.
No, it really every
And it-
time they weren't just talking. It was
There was
I
something
on the
happening.
edge
There
of my
was
seat,
plot.
Yeah.
Going. And it was
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done that it pulled in everything all together at once, and it really felt like an actual comic book movie.
Yeah.
Like everything was very comic booky, but not in a bad way.
What did you go in expecting? Because like there's been 10 years of build up for this movie, and you
I don't
can't
know.
not have expectations.
Yeah. It was I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting something good, but also kind of apprehensive because there were 70 characters in that movie, and
Yeah.
you know, sometimes when they try to push too many characters in a movie, like things don't work out well.
They
at all.
handled it so well.
Oh,
It
man,
was surprisingly
so
well done.
good.
I felt satisfied from every character.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was really cool about all of those combos is it was like there were so many groupings that
Yeah.
I did just
Separate-
not expect to have the chemistry that they did.
Oh, it was so
Who would have
good.
thought? Yeah, who would have thought Thor and
Thor-
Rocket Raccoon would get along?
Yeah.
Were you gonna say that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even all the different groups, but they kind of made their own little tiny teams.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. I'm like, I kind of want a movie with each one of these.
All right, Logan, what'd you go in expecting?
Well, first of all, we're in spoiler territory, right?
Oh,
we are
yeah,
in
we're
spoiler
way
territory.
past that.
Well, so
We're
the
way
fucking
on.
movie ends on a cliffhanger, and
God.
I went in not knowing that this was intended or like
Uh-huh.
rumored heavily to be a two-parter. So I was left very
Confused?
confused and
Apprehensive?
upset, and very apprehensive.
Yeah.
And once I calmed down, I loved how mad it made me.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
want to see Thanos
yeah.
get his ass kicked now.
Uh-huh.
And because again, I've never read the comics, so like every plot point in that movie came as it was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like now I'm really looking. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Again, like this is one of the few comic arcs that I'm not that familiar with.
Okay,
But I'm
yeah.
really excited to see how they pull this off.
Yeah.
And
So, quick background with that. Originally, it was supposed to be Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2. And when they started getting closer to production, they're like, you know what? We can fit this into one movie, but we still want to do a second movie, and it's going to be kind of the aftermath, I think. They haven't released much of anything other than they film back to back.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what happened there. But yeah, so a little bit more background. The movie in general was kind of a mix between Infinity Gauntlet, which was out in
92, I think.
92-ish, around that
Early
area.
90s.
Early 90s. And then,
It's I mean that's like a multi-issue storyline too, so it could have.
so it's a mix between that one and the Hickman run of Avengers, which was a couple years ago. I think it was out in 14.
Infinity.
It's just Infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did read that one actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was kind of like my first arc that I was
Nice.
that I was like conscious of
Yeah. So that
or aware of comic books for. So I started with that one.
Right, so that arc was right in the middle of Hickman's run, which was fantastic.
Yeah,
One of my most
good shit.
favorite runs ever. And that led into the Secret War stuff, which I don't think they're going to go for this. But the Black Order, Avengers going off planet to do stuff, that all came from those issues.
Yeah. Yeah. In the Starlin storyline, like the Silver Surfer crashes into Doctor Strange's house,
Instead of the Hulk like in the movie.
and just like the Hulk did, and then he gets him and he's like, Thanos is coming. Like Thanos
Who's
is
going to
coming.
get our shit together?
You know, and then Doctor Strange's like, calm down, my friend, have a cigarette. And then they drink coffee and smoke some cigarettes because the 90s.
Because 90s.
And
Early 90s, yeah.
And so they start to get everybody together, and then Thanos, who is in love with Lady Death, like Death,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
who is the Grim Reaper, but also a gorgeous woman.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos, in order to impress her, kind of half at the suggestion of Mephisto,
Yeah.
snaps his fingers and kills off half the Marvel Universe. And they show just all these heroes dying.
Yeah. Disappearing.
Yeah, they all just dead.
Yeah.
And then
Bunch of X-Men, some of the Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
Avengers, random people.
Yeah.
But that was right. It was towards the beginning of the story, which was cool.
Yeah, very, very early on in the story is when that happened. But then the whole like Marvel universe goes to Thanos, and they fight it for like 6 issues.
Yeah.
And like they keep cutting back away from it because like Galactus and the Watchers and the Celestials,
there's like 20 characters.
High Evolution, like all these fucking dudes all get together and they're like, no one is supposed to have that much power. Like we don't have that much power. No one's supposed to have that much power. Right. And then they decide not to do anything because they're like, let the universe sort it out. Like these guys have got it. And then they start to not got it, and they come in to fight, and then Thanos kicks their ass. And then, like, Nebula, who he has killed earlier, who's
early
like...
on, yeah. Oh, no, he made her into he aged her a bunch.
He basically aged her to the point of decaying. She's a zombie, essentially. Yeah. She's like a mindless zombie. And she comes in, and, like...
While he's distracted, takes
the gauntlet.
The gauntlet, yeah.
And she starts bringing people back or whatever, but like they kill Thor, I think, in there. I think he shatters like Cap's shield. Like,
yeah, it was a pretty heavy comic.
A lot of people dying.
Really good. Definitely go read it if you haven't read it yet.
And then I don't entirely remember how it ended with who changed shit back, but
I think it was Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I think so. I think Warlock got a hold of it.
Which is interesting. I thought they were going to bring him in because he sort of appears at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 in the pod.
Right.
That's the guy they're referring to. She's like, I'm going to call him Adam. It's Adam Warlock.
Oh, with the I'm sorry, I'm going to sound so not nerd qualified, but the Golden People.
Yes.
Yeah.
Golden.
No, it's cool.
I forget what they're called.
Yeah, the Golden People. Yeah, that works.
That was the one reference I wasn't clear on when at the end of that movie. So I'm glad I figured that out.
Yep.
Yeah, because I read a trade's worth of Guardians with Warlock in it. He's a really interesting.
Oh yeah. They do some cool stuff with him.
So in the end, like they basically wish Thanos out of existence, and he's gone, and his like weird wife that he creates to make Death jealous is gone because she can't breathe in his like weird sanctum because he starts making like all these stupid errors because he's overwhelmed.
Yeah,
but
because he's not a god. He has all this power. No one should have that power.
Right. So in the end, he
sets everything back to normal.
Everything goes back to normal, and
then he retires on the farm.
And then he goes to a farm.
So here's the thing with that: the very last scene, if you remember, shows like green hills and vegetation, and Thanos is just chilling. That came straight from the comic book. So that had like when I saw it the first day, and I see the farm itself, I literally yelled, I'm like, they did not just do that.
Oh, I lost my shit.
And I was like, holy crap.
When I saw that building, I was like, no, I am not ready for this to be the end. Because like when I was watching everyone die and turn to dust, I was like, they're not playing music.
No, it was.
And all these people are just dying, and then Peter like crying, like I don't want to go.
That was the one moment I like teared up and Peter was freaking out.
The whole time this is happening, I'm like, it's cool. This is the point where they go and they kick his ass. Like, this is when it's going to be all out, brutal. Yeah. It's going to be insane. You will never see them fight harder than they're about to fight. And then they showed the farm, and I was like,
what? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like, and now I feel like I need to watch it again just to process, like, all those deaths that I was kind of taking for granted.
Was definitely needed. And I picked up a lot. Although, granted, with the first one, the audio... Just with our seats, we couldn't hear a lot of the dialogue, so I missed a lot of the dialogue the first time around. So I got a lot on this next one.
I missed a lot because
people were clapping and
laughing.
Okay, the dude behind us had, not to bitch like about the movie theater, but like the dude behind us had like the loudest clap I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. And then the group in front of us was laughing, so like I want to watch it again because there's a lot of one-liners that I missed from the beginning part of the movie.
I'm pretty sure they meant it to be like that, which is okay.
And well, and that being said, like our audience, when shit got serious,
oh man. Like, you know what? Just this theater was probably one of the better theaters I've seen a movie with. Yeah. The audience was great. People were clapping and cheering and yelling.
They were energetic and not obnoxious. Like, it was really nice.
Right. Oh my God, though. Like, because there was a group in front of us that was clearly Black Panther fans.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when Okoye showed up, they cheered. When Black Panther showed up, they cheered. When Shuri showed up, I mean, we all cheered. Yeah. But when like the Man-Ape, what's his people? Yeah. When that particular tribe showed up, like they were losing their minds. So when Black Panther like just faded away, I was like, when he was like, "Come, it's just not the time to die." I'm like, "No, you can't kill Okoye." And then he starts fading. I'm like,
seeing her face when that happened was
so good. Oh God, she's so good.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, like the Wakanda segments were the most badass. Like,
it
was funny because when everyone got excited when like a single character would show up, like, Iron Man has his armor now. But they're like, the whole fucking Wakanda army is out here, and I love all of them. Like, I'm not just excited because it's Black Panther.
Well,
like,
and that was what was really cool when Black Panther starts fading, and you realize it's not going to be Okoye who's going to go.
Yeah.
You could hear them being like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was
no.
that
like,
was
they were not happy about it, and like I was like,
because Bucky went first. Bucky went first. You're like, okay, sort of a side character. Okay, that sucks. And then it starts focusing.
And then they
on,
kill off the entire fucking Guardians.
Yeah. In fact,
well, because even then they make you feel safe. Like that, like every other person died, but like everyone except Tony and Nebula are gone.
Yeah,
like,
it was Strange,
fucking Strange, Drax, Mantis, and Peter,
Spider-Man, and Spider-Man crying.
That was
because he realized he's like, brutal. I know what's going on.
I knew
like,
it was happening again.
He's a kid.
Yeah,
they've done that twice with his character, and it's like it gets me every time when he in Spider-Man: Homecoming when he's crushed by the rubble.
Yeah.
And he's like crying out for help. They do like that. It's just it hits you. Like I don't know.
See, and I knew it was happening again with this one. Cause it's the second time I've seen it, so like I already knew what was going on. So now I'm finished processing. So now I can just enjoy it a little bit more, which I did a lot more in my second run. But just still, even knowing he was like going like that, still hit me hard, and I still teared up big time.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Jeez, this whole freaking movie.
Well, it was. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just like. I'm still in awe on how great this movie was, and how much every scene drove the plot forward, and how much the ending completely threw everybody. Because not a lot of people read the comics,
right?
And so your general audience in there probably were like, "What the hell just happened?" In fact, I turned my phone back on, and my phone was blowing up with either people who knew or didn't know.
Yeah,
Tate, Tyler, Brian. They were just like, "What just happened?"
Our friend Monica, her boyfriend Phil, she texted us on her way home being like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I think Tate said, "Fuck the what?"
Yeah, dude, that was like,
well, dude, they totally fucked with everyone's expectations when they didn't kill off anyone you think they're gonna kill off. Right. Everyone came in like, "Oh, Tony's definitely dead. Captain America will probably die."
That was the one thing.
But and then everyone, you're like, "Oh, they're good." Because, there's only been 2 Guardians movies. There've been 1 Black Panther, 1 Spider-Man. Like, none of them, they all fucking died. Like, every one of them, like, everyone who we were like, oh, they're okay. They're going to be fine. They're gone.
And you know the thing with that is, we still got a part 2. So they might fix some things or bring people back. But
they have to. I mean,
that's a full year out. That's out this time next year.
This movie has an entire chunk of audience that probably wasn't necessarily around, for Thor Ragnarok. Like, there's a ton of people who came to this movie because they're like, "Oh shit, a new Black Panther movie? Fuck yes!"
Yeah,
like
true.
There's so many people who went and saw that movie who had never seen a Marvel movie before.
Yeah,
there has to be. Look at how many tickets they sold.
Yeah, it's still in the theaters.
You don't beat out. Yeah, it's still in the theaters. I can go see it tomorrow if I want.
The theater across from us. I don't know if you noticed. It was showing Black Panther.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that is insane.
So awesome.
Yeah. Man, can we talk about the music,
dude?
This Silvestri,
this was the best.
That was the best Marvel soundtrack besides Black Panther. It was just intense and quiet when it needed to be, and loud when it needed to be, and the fight scene music. And
anytime the music, like when the music would stop, and you're just like, oh, I'm not okay. Like, can we just a little bit? Can we bring just a little bit back?
I didn't really realize how good it was until the credits were rolling and there was nothing going on, and the score was just playing in the background.
The credits were taken so somberly.
Yeah,
like the typeface, and
it's like on like a really serious episode of like Degrassi or something like that when like someone goes through a breakup and it's just they don't play music over the credits like they always do, and you're just kind of sitting there in silence like, oh, that was a serious one. Please don't. I haven't seen all of them.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Thank you. Just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Logan can't go into spoiler territory with that right now.
Man. Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyway. So one of the things I do actually really want to talk about, is there anything else to say on the music? Oh, the fact that we went to like a Guardian song when we go to space.
When we first introduced to him? Yeah.
Well, I was going to say like the motif, like the theme for every character was just on point. Like, which I guess kind of the Avengers theme has kind of become Iron Man's thing. Like you really only
hear it when Cap showed up.
When Cap shows up for sure, that bum 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 bum.
Yeah. And then it goes to like Captain America theme.
Yeah, right? And I think with Cap, they tend to also include like snare drums a little bit, and it'll make it more of a march because America.
Yeah.
But with Tony Stark, usually it's a little bit more like fanciful, I guess. But I mean, I'd have to give it a listen to know for sure. And really analyze the crap out of it.
When the credits first rolled, and it was the piano version, the slower, that was
Oh man, they're just rolling through,
and they just let you sit in like this anguish, like
was right
after everyone's just gone, and you're like, okay, like Bryce said, they're this is okay, because they're gonna come back, and you're like, oh wait, it's not okay.
And then it cuts to black.
Like there are names popping up on the screen now. That's not cool.
After the names, it says Avengers: Infinity War,
and then that fades away,
and I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, when I saw it, like, I mean, the credits were definitely nail in the coffin. But that damn farmhouse pissed me off.
And it's gonna piss a lot of people off because no one knows what the hell it is or what it's from or why it's there or why is he.
Yeah,
which makes me even more happy.
That's just Thanos' retirement house.
Yeah.
For those of you who are at home going, what the hell does it mean then? It's Thanos' retirement house.
It's literally his retirement house. Yeah. Which kind of makes sense to the movie because he was like, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. I'm going to get shit done. I'm going to kill half the people and then I'll be okay. And he did. And he was
he does what he wants. And then
he was kind of okay. The Gamora thing was interesting.
Well, I was going to say Thanos was probably the best villain we've had so far in the MCU, in my opinion. He was so complex, so well done, and like you kind of get it. Like
and it was interesting because at my first viewing, there was a lot of people that didn't like Thanos in the third act.
Really?
And I kind of got it, just that he didn't really have much motivation after Gamora.
At that point, it was a matter of I have to continue this.
Yeah,
I've gone too far.
Right.
At that point, it's a point of pride.
And I got it when because they were explaining to me like, okay, I understand where they're coming from, and okay, I get it.
Sure.
But on the second viewing, I'm like, oh no, he's good. He's totally fine. Like this was good.
Yeah. I
also can we talk about Gamora's death for a second?
Yeah.
Leading up to it, the Red Skull coming back,
dude.
I recognized his voice right away, and I was like, holy shit! And I was like, wait, what?
That's Hugo Weaving, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I sat up. I remember I sat up. I leaned forward and I looked at Logan, and Logan was like, "I'm not paying attention to you right now, you jackass." And then I looked over at Brian, and then I looked over at Logan, and then I looked over at Brian, and
I look over and I'm like nodding my head, like, yeah.
Oh my god,
that was insane. Because he gets like disintegrated in Captain America. Doesn't
he gets teleported out through the Tesseract.
Like it sucks him up.
And again, that's what I thought. He just like was.
No, and I thought he was like atomized. When that first came out. And he got sucked up. I'm like, oh, he's got to come back. He'll come back eventually. And then like 6-7 years go by and nothing really. And then shows up there. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
He was a cool villain, but he got killed off so easy. Got taken out of the picture.
And the Red Skull, like that's like Cap's nemesis for a long time.
Off and on for
super cool that he's alive. Like, and also super cool that he's not only alive but like in a hell.
So here's the thing with that. That was kind of, I don't know if it was taken from it or if the comic was based off of that. But in the newer Thanos run, I think it's Lemire's run. Someone else is writing it now. Well, number one, super good. Thanos gets sick and he has to heal himself. He's dying. And everybody's like, he's dying? Kill this motherfucker. And so a lot of people end up getting together. But he's like, no, like, you can't kill me. I'm Thanos. So he ends up finding out a way to heal himself. But he has to go to what's called a god quarry. And it's where the gods go to die. All of them. He's like wraith, ghost-like figures, just how Red Skull showed up. And they're like, you have to wisen up and you have to figure this out for yourself. We're not going to help you. But if you die, you die. And again, we're not helping you. So he has to jump in this god quarry, go through some stuff, and he comes out healed up and healthy again. And it's very, very similar to what they did in the movie. And I don't know if the movie inspired that plot point that they knew about or they had that early enough. Because this was probably about a year ago now. But anyways, it was really good. Also, the second half, when the second writer takes over and Cosmic Ghost Rider comes out, badass, because it turns out to be the Punisher.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He becomes a Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
In space.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, like, just comic book goodness right there.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Give it to me. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was a whole Thanos little thing there, which I really liked about that planet.
Oh
but again, that led up to Gamora's sacrifice.
And again, like, you kind of, I don't know, like, as a layperson coming in, I was expecting her to get, like, absorbed into something or kind of, like, sucked up like Red Skull did. And then it cuts to her, and you're like, she's dead, bleeding out her head. Like, Gamora's gone. Like, she didn't just get, like,
and then just
taken.
To see her fall, that solid, like, 4 or 5 seconds and cuts out to Thanos like tearing up and crying. Like,
and that was the moment that I was honestly sold on Thanos. Like I didn't, because these comic book villains, they want to destroy something, or there's something
take over the world.
It's very much it's like revenge or power hungry.
Yeah.
Thanos, I mean, the best kind of villain is when they think they're doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing arc, really
I
really cool motivation.
loved his motivations compared to what Jim Starlin's original idea was.
Yeah.
Like, this was so
ignoring the whole death, trying to impress her, and being friend zoned.
And I really like that Thanos versus the friend zone, like, wasn't what they went with, but they still said we still need Thanos to have like a big heart.
Yeah,
and he does. Like, this is an idea of, he's like, no, we're doing it at random. We do it like when he explains it to Strange, like what his plan was.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god, like you're kind of space Hitler,
right?
But like chaotic neutral space Hitler.
But it kind of makes sense. Like I understand
where he's coming from.
Yeah,
and his logic behind it, but he has no emotion or empathy.
For the record, Thanos. We're talking about
Thanos. Yeah, no, Hitler asshole.
No. But like,
you guys weren't talking about Hitler. Are you not going to put that one in?
I'll leave it so everyone judges you. And thinks you're a terrible person.
I was talking about Thanos, for the record, Your Honor.
Anyway, yeah, he was really like personable. Even his minions, like, they were so badass, but
the
like
children?
they were,
I wanted more with them.
They were badass, but like there really wasn't much to them.
I think that is one complaint I think I had. They at least disposed of them way too quickly.
I thought they took forever to dispose of those motherfuckers.
Well, like all like very close to each other. Like the last 3 die within 5 minutes of each other.
It was big giant final battle.
I think that was one thing that kind of like they didn't really get a chance to build character,
like who they are, where they came from, what their names are.
Widow versus horn face chick.
That was one of the best things. Like, honestly, that entire sequence was like that was the Marvel Cinematic Universe's like Helm's Deep.
Wait, yeah.
That was.
I'm putting it in there. That fight at Wakanda is in my top 5 like battles of all time.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was just, you have to watch all the other movies to get everything. To get excited when certain characters show up. But like being a person who did, that was.
Hulk never came back.
Nope, he didn't.
He really refused all the way through. I just realized I expected him to eventually like show up. He never came back.
Nope.
Is there a reason for that in the comic books? Because that was odd.
Yeah. So like, I mean, that happens off and on throughout the whole.
Banner and the Hulk sometimes like not just don't get along, but like aren't on speaking terms.
Yeah. So, and they revealed, they talked about it. So we had the Incredible Hulk movie, and that was it. And then he shows up again in Avengers, and then not again until. Well, the end of Iron Man 3, but he was just the therapist, sort of.
Yeah.
And then he shows up in Ultron, and then he escapes and he leaves. So we don't get a whole lot of Hulk stuff, but what they're saying is that they're not going to do any Hulk movies, but what they want to do is have Hulk, a good Hulk arc between, starting with Ragnarok, and then leading into Infinity War, and then into Avengers 4. And yeah, you can tell there's some internal battle going on, and even from Ragnarok, we see that he was a Hulk for 2 years straight, and you can see him kind of growing up as a Hulk. Sort of. So he acted like a 4 or 5-year-old, and I think that was kind of part of it. Here's Hulk, biggest, baddest there is, strongest there is, goes to fight Thanos, gets his ass kicked. Well, he's gonna like kind of cower away a little bit. Like he doesn't want to come back out and fight that guy again. Mm-hmm. So but. Yeah, and even you can see little parts, and when Banner's trying to like, Hulk, where you at? And then he hulks out for a hot second. He's like, no, and escapes, leaves.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool arc where they're going with the Hulk, and I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited to see him really meet up with Natasha again, because it's hinted at. They say like, hey, how you been? Like
I was never the biggest fan of that relationship thing, but
it was so short-lived.
To see where it goes. Yeah,
it was so short-lived, like 4 or 5 years ago.
I was really disappointed that they didn't bring Ant-Man in. Or Hawkeye at all.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
Yeah. And I guess...
Is Jeremy Renner just done?
No.
No?
No. They just didn't write him in there.
That's odd.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had that throwaway line where like, oh yeah, like it was too much on their family, so they took a deal with the government, and they're on house arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You will see that in Ant-Man and the Wasp in July. That happens before Infinity War.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean, it would have to.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
they're
not
not going to have
unless
a
it
whole Ant-Man
ends-
movie in the middle of all the people dying. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
But
that
it
would
wouldn't
be
set
the
up well
Ant-Man
because
no.
It would
like the
definitely
stuff in New
take
York
away the
happened a couple
seriousness
days.
of it all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, like stuff in New York would happen, like on a Monday, and then the end of the movie, it was basically like a week-long movie. So timeline-wise, so like they would have seen something, he would have came out and helped out if he could, or so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. Man. Oh gosh, it was so good. Okay, there's a few things I do want to talk about. One, Bucky saying 100-year-old man.
Yeah.
It did not occur to me that he would have been about 18 to 20 during World War II, which would mean he is actually almost 100 years old now. I always think of Bucky and Cap as like 40 years past what they're supposed to be.
Oh yeah,
But
no, because that's what they kind of were in the comics for. A long time.
Because when the Avengers pull Cap out of the ice, he's been
So like 10,
been
15
dead
years?
for like 20 years, ish.
Yeah.
Did they do that in the 60s run of Avengers?
Yeah, it was the first.
Like they had to dig him out?
First
Okay.
first arc.
Yeah. So it's just crazy to me to think that it's so long,
And they mentioned Thor's age too.
Yeah, Thor's age.
1,500 years.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty young
Right, because
for a god.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Like-
it's interesting when he said that, my immediate thought was like, oh, you kind of age in centuries.
Yeah.
Like you're 15. Like or at least you were when you started this thing.
Sorta, yeah.
You were a teenager when you started this thing.
Mhm.
And maybe a cocky early 20-year-old something, but like you're in your like late 20s now, I suppose. But I mean, granted, I'm sure that man's probably older than that, but you copied my beard.
That was
Just so many great
all the
interactions.
one-liners that weren't Joss Whedon-y.
When Vision got hit and he's like, and then collapses in front of Cap.
I was gonna
right
say
after-
because there's like 3 or 4 scenes. Of
right
that.
after he gets his ass handed to him by one of the children.
Oh, okay.
And then Vision like gets hit or something and collapses in front of Cap right there on the gun. And I was like, don't say anything, dare say anything. And then he just kind of goes, ugh, and then collapsed next to that log.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh shit! Like we've learned how not to quip.
yeah.
This
Look
one,
at us.
well, this one was so emotional in the right areas and like made no attempt to lighten it. They
Yeah.
would.
There's definitely a lot of funny scenes.
Oh yeah, they'd lead it up with
Photos.
a really funny scene, but it was those moments were always allowed to be what they needed to be.
Oh
Yeah.
It wasn't forced. Everything was
Yeah, and it didn't
like,
take
natural.
itself too seriously. Like there was still commentary and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Which with the trailers, it kind of got set up to be kind of serious. So that's what I was kind of afraid about. It's like, oh, they're gonna go
the DC route.
Yeah.
Yeah, still more serious and like major threat. So that's the second thing I actually wanted to talk about. I've been wishing for like 17 years that people die on scene properly instead of dying in a blue cloud of smoke or some bullshit like that. Age of Ultron, literally
Like, no one
everyone.
dies.
Yeah, like the speedster is the one who dies.
Yeah.
That's who dies.
Yeah.
Freaking Quicksilver.
The character that no one cared about in the first place.
And then some Korean scientists get disappeared. Like that's what Ultron brought to the table, and that
Didn't do anything.
I was really pissed.
Yeah.
And then be careful what you wish for because
Everybody died.
I mean
on
the
screen.
Gamora like planet scene,
Yep.
like people were dying like crazy, and then they show like the collapsing genocide of half her people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
even in the beginning scene, that when they were stabbing the
they stab
Asgardians.
Heimdall.
Yeah.
And they stab another random dude.
Yeah.
And then he snaps Loki's neck.
Yeah. Or
And
chokes
then-
him out, but yeah, snaps her.
There's like a little
Anyways. Yeah.
thing, but I'm not
Anyways,
sure.
it was
and
pretty-
then like all the bodies that are floating in space when the Guardians show up,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then just all the people randomly just fading away, like
Yeah. Oh man.
brutal, so brutal, and it made me absolutely like afraid of Thanos.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, I was like, I don't know what you're capable of at this point.
Right.
And it made me worry about his children and stuff, which like
Mhm.
crazy. So,
Yeah.
and then I got a third thing.
Which is.
Doctor Strange looks over at Iron Man and he goes, "It was the only way."
Yeah.
Which he's seen every way.
He's seen every
This
way.
was the
The
only way
where they win.
where they win is if he does the one thing that he absolutely refuses.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing in a Steven Universe arc that's actually happening right now, is that Garnet, who has this like future vision, is unable to predict the future anymore, and she can't figure out why.
Yeah.
And it's because every time she looks into possible futures, she thinks, what will Steven do and she looks at the futures where he acts like a child.
Okay.
And because he's a child.
Yeah.
But he's not acting like it right now. And it's like that same sort of idea that he's like, let me look at every single possibility here, and what's the one possibility that like that is like not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's him giving up.
Yeah.
You know, because he's such a hard-nosed asshole.
And then later he's like, we're in the end game now.
Yeah. This is how it goes.
This is
like,
how it has
he
to
knows
happen.
when he gives that up, he's like, I'm gonna die. All these people are gonna die. Tony's gonna have to figure this shit out with Cyborg Lady.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of cool. I'm like, I thought they were gonna kill him off. And for a second, like it looked like they did. But I kind of like how they
Tony?
Yeah.
Dude, that was the one expectation I went into this movie. I was like,
too.
I don't think Tony's making it out.
And I
of
was
this.
I'm glad it didn't happen. I was really disappointed with his death, with his supposed
fake death.
Yeah, when
before he got stabbed.
Well, because I was like, he never got to see Cap again. He never got to go back to Earth.
Yeah.
Like, he never got to see Pepper Potts again. It was kind of like, that would have been my Charles Xavier.
He might not see Pepper Potts again.
Yeah.
She could be dead.
Yeah, we don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't see if Shuri made it out or not, and I'm really worried.
Yeah.
I hope for Bryce's sake that Shuri didn't make it. She's a great character, but just, if I could see Bryce upset a little bit, that would.
Oh god, if they had taken her out, I think that would have hurt people more than like.
I thought she was going to die when the kid, when Thanos' son went in.
Oh
and
yeah,
took
when she
Vision.
turned around and she had the blaster on.
Yeah.
Fucking dope. She's the best.
Shoot, where was I going with that? What I was talking about before?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
and then Cap's or Iron Man's supposed death.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be like a whole complete circle arc. Like everything starts with Iron Man, and now it's gonna end with Iron Man because he has to figure everything out. He has to take care of everything.
Yeah,
he's honestly been at the center of the MCU.
Yeah.
Ever since.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like you're right. It started with him, and he always has like the most proficient arc even in the Avengers movies. Even in Civil War, he was a huge character.
That's because Civil War is a story about Cap and Iron Man.
Like it was basically Iron Man 4.
Yeah. Avengers. It was much more it was much more Iron Man movie than a Cap movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Anyway, you were saying that he's been in the center.
Yeah, and I've always loved seeing Tony struggle with
everything.
Just being him, being a hero, and like coming to terms with the cost of that, and actually seeing that he has stakes now because he has a family on the way, and like he
wants a family on the way.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that because there's a sequence at the beginning for those of you who haven't, I'm hoping you've seen it. So when they're talking about him having a dream, I have a feeling that Pepper's actually going to be pregnant if she's still around in the second movie. She's gonna be like, oh, like I was wrong. Your dream was right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like I'm really excited. Like I was so upset at the end of the movie because like we don't get to see it resolved, but I'm so glad that Tony's gonna have an entire thing that he goes through. And I feel like he's probably definitely gonna die in the next movie. But did you see that? We choke on that word. Like,
it's rough.
You okay there, buddy?
I'll be fine.
Good.
I'm not okay right now though.
You'll be fine. I guarantee it.
What was I gonna say? But when I really feel like he's gonna feel like everyone is gonna be totally satisfied with Tony as he makes his goodbyes, like as he waves goodbye to the Marvel universe.
Oh man.
Yeah. If he does.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know anything about Avengers 4 going like that.
We don't even know the title yet.
They pulled the rug out from under us.
Oh yeah.
And that was one of the things that I said to you when you were like, I'm kind of mad about this. I was like, as mad as I am that like they did this and that it is actually a part 2 after rumoring a part 2 and then not rumoring a part 2 and then saying it's absolutely not a part 2, like or 2-parter. Like after all that, like this movie did the one thing like that no Marvel movie has done in 6 years. And that is that it completely surprised me.
Oh, okay.
And like even Black Panther, which absolutely was refreshing.
Uh-huh.
And Ragnarok surprised me in a much different way, but like in more of a what the hell are you doing with this? This surprised me in a way of like, oh, did we grow up? Because it feels like we grew up.
Yeah. It's funny, but it's still really serious.
Yeah.
And like heavy.
And the thing is they've been building on this for 10 years. Like, and that was something I was thinking about on the drive to the theater. Is I was like, this is the first movie where Thanos is actually going to be like moving around and doing stuff and we've been building up this character barely at all
Yeah.
But like I mean, we've been building him up huge, obviously, but we've been like developing him almost not at all.
Yeah, because he just that half a second at the end of Avengers, and then
his
he had
scenes in
small
Guardians.
role in Guardians,
Mhm.
and then
He has one cameo at the very. He's in a bonus scene.
tag. Yeah.
Yeah, when he says, "I guess I'll have to do it myself," and puts the glove on,
Yeah.
the gauntlet on.
Speaking of the
gauntlet, Peter Dinklage is the last dwarf.
Oh, that was so cool.
Peter Dinklage has openly said multiple times that he will never play like a leprechaun or something like
Right.
that. And
To be fair, he wasn't small.
No, and I think that was
I mean, he plays him. You know, he plays a
dwarf.
in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they mention that he is small in that, but he's not playing something that is mythical because it is small.
No, he's playing a little person. He's not playing a dwarf or a gnome.
Yeah.
Right. He's not playing, and he refused. He refused to take those jobs because they're demeaning and they're degrading.
Yeah.
And I love that he's like, yeah, I'll play a dwarf. You just gotta make me 3 times the size of fucking Thor.
Yeah. Genius. Like that was great.
Oh my god.
Plus his character was cool as hell, and I love how he was just like pissed off at Thor, like what the hell, asshole, and Thor's like, we're
Thor
dead.
was like, well, that was a great moment because
and then he's just like, oh shit.
Well, because again, and Thor has like kind of a knack for letting people down because of like his arrogance and everything. So I think this is the first time he's like, hey man, like we got our asses kicked too. Like we're in the same boat here.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when he like explains to him like, no, everyone's dead, and then he's like, well, here's what happened on this end while you were gone.
Yeah.
I made the worst thing you could, and I did it to save my people, and they still died, and then he turned my hands into these metal rocks, and now I can't do anything.
Yeah, which was cool, and so those guys were in.
Like, what a tragic story.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And those kind of dwarves were in some of the recent Thor issues. Matt Fraction's run.
Okay, I love Fraction.
They had a big part in, I think it was Fear Itself.
Oh really?
With Tony.
Okay.
Did you read that part yet?
Yes. Tony Stark goes to the dwarves, which aren't that huge.
No, in the comics they are.
No, but he goes to the dwarves and he goes to the forge, and because there's all these new hammers, and he goes to get weapons for the Avengers that will be able to stand up against basically 6 Mjolnirs.
Yeah.
Okay.
They transform
and it like turns all their armor into these super badass versions.
It was interesting.
It was neat.
It was kind of cool. It was kind of cool.
Is that where the Thor Buster armor came in?
Thor Buster? No.
I don't know. Is Thor around in that story?
Yeah. He's fighting off because it's his uncle.
That's right. He's actually fighting his uncle.
Yeah.
That's when Squirrel Girl protects everybody from the things.
When Squirrel Girl was really cool.
It's bad, back when she was. Anyway, back to this. Like, yeah, they've had the dwarves like, and he said, it was forged in the Dying Star or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Stormbreaker.
It sounds like you had a very special relationship with this hammer.
Yeah.
Where was Korg? And where was Sean Gunn?
He was the onset.
Sure.
Oh, he plays
Rocket.
He plays Rocket.
Yeah. But he also plays what's his name
Ravager.
the last Ravager.
Do you think I don't think the Ravagers would be messing around with all that. They'd probably be like
right, but he was with the Guardians. He left like
that's right.
He and Nebula and Mantis all pretty much joined up.
I don't know about him, but he was around. He was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like next movie we'll see him and Valkyrie and we'll see Korg or whoever else.
That'd be really cool.
Kind of like the ancillary characters that weren't really seen in this movie. Maybe they'll come out and
they can be the MCU's Starjammers.
Yeah, basically. The Secret Warriors.
I love that they were basically the Secret Warrior or the Secret Avengers. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nomad and Falcon and Black Widow.
Call Cap. No.
They didn't. They actually called him Captain America pretty much the entire time. I was surprised. Yeah.
But even that was another thing too with the Black Order. They didn't really get names. You heard
the wizard.
Is the Maw dead?
Yeah.
It's like his name is Ebony Maw.
Ebony Maw. Okay.
Yeah. So
he was an awesome character.
Yeah, he was super
For
creepy.
the record, I was kind of bummed when he died because he was so
I loved
like
his death though.
Yeah, it was legit.
That was cool.
And
you ever seen this old movie called Aliens?
There's so much to this movie.
I think, as far as like quips go, I think Tony Stark and Peter Parker had the best one.
Oh my
like
God.
Tony Stark saying like you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
Yeah.
I almost cried laughing at that.
I really love how Spider-Man still calls Iron Man like, "Hey, Mr. Stark, Mr. Stark."
Dude, when he's dying and he's like, "Mr. Stark, sir, I don't want to go."
Yeah, I don't want to go. And he lays down and he's like, "I'm sorry." Like he thought he let him down. It was just like,
well, that's the thing. Like they set that up. He calls him like he's a surrogate dad.
yeah.
You know, because I mean, obviously his uncle's dead. Like his only father figure is gone.
Whoa.
Oh man.
I'm gonna make assumptions. They never showed in the movie, but I'm gonna make the assumption.
I don't know. I'm not. It isn't real until Uncle Ben dies again.
But
It's about that time.
Yeah.
He turned into dust.
we're a little late for it. But I think that's why it hurts so much. You're like this. Stark's son is fading into dust and terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And
God,
terrified
yes.
and like practically apologizing for it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So
And that's how you guys know. Like again, if you're watching this for some reason before you see the movie, you'll know how
Who's
good that
watching
scene
this?
is.
You watching the waveform? What are you?
Did I say watching this?
You did?
Yeah.
Take two. So if you guys are listening to this for whatever reason,
We're leaving that in there. You know that, right?
yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Before you watch the movie, you'll know how strong that scene is because we've come back to it. I've been counting 3 times now that Peter Parker scene we talked about.
It's just
It's just so
Yeah, because it hurts.
perfectly
It's heartbreaking.
encapsulates
That's why.
everything in that movie. Like
Mhm.
it's almost like everything led up to that moment to just kick your ass.
Yeah.
Mhm.
taking out Drax was rough, and
Yeah.
watching Peter go was really hard.
That was ugly.
I did not think they were gonna do that.
Yeah, especially for the last one, they kind of drug it out a little bit. Like,
Oh no, he took his time. Like because
Uh-huh.
you're kind of thinking like, is Peter gonna go? Is because he just looks
It's like-
kind of dirty.
yeah, he's like, I don't feel
And-
good.
And yeah,
And you're like, what?
and then you see his
No.
arms start going. You're like, oh my god, and then Peter's done. And then they take their time. Like,
Yeah.
Mantis was gone almost instantly. Drax was.
She was so good in this movie. Sorry.
She was great.
Oh yeah,
I think
she really came into her own, and
Yeah.
she looked like way prettier in this movie too.
Yeah.
So like I was like kind of crushing on her a little bit.
We're here to kick names and take ass. I love that.
And then they just held
just
on it. It
held
was
on
just
it.
like
the silence in that was just
And
yeah.
the look that Peter and Tony gave each other, they're like, oh, that side glance. Like, that was so
like
perfect.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or is Footloose still the best movie ever? It never was.
It was never. Oh man, that was the good part. Like, there were so many serious moments, and there were so many hilarious moments.
And just
Yeah.
the chemistry between everyone was again.
yeah.
We talked about this. Like I never thought Peter and Tony would be that great together, but they worked.
Oh yeah.
Like them just like both thinking the other's a moron.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
was so funny to watch.
Yeah.
Like he's like, no, I'm from Earth. Missouri's on Earth, dipshit. Like that. Yeah, it was just.
I wanted more interaction between them. We were like, wait, you're from Earth? Like, why are you here? How long has it been? Like, I wanted something like that.
I was always
yeah.
kind of waiting for that. Someone to ask Star Lord, like, what happened, dude?
How come you don't? Well, and I like. Why aren't you like super like? Oh shit, you're from
Or else like, you're from Earth?
like, and they kind of did it, and that he was. But I think he was just kind of in business mode. Like, we got to
Which
take
is
care
true.
of this.
Yeah.
Which
Which I
I appreciate.
get.
But he did kind of occasionally say things like referencing the world, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm from Earth." Blah blah blah. But I don't know. Like, does he even realize how close Titan is to Earth?
Yeah. It's in the solar system.
Yeah.
Supposedly. In the comics, it is.
Is it not the moon of
it's
Jupiter?
I
Yeah,
was gonna say,
yeah.
isn't Titan the moon?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, so
It's one of 4. Well,
So-
actually,
Yeah,
it's
there's
one of them, like a
shit ton.
shitload.
So there
But
was-
it's one of the 4 big ones.
Yeah.
so there was Earth on. Jesus Christ, there was life on Titan,
Mm-hmm.
like the Jupiter moon,
Yep.
and that's where Thanos is from.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the Mad Titan.
He's the Mad Titan. Dude, go see this movie if you haven't seen it yet.
Seriously.
Oh my god.
Go see it again.
Go see it again. I think I want to go see it again. Okay, so now,
Thank God for Movie Pass because you can go see it again
Right.
for free.
Ooh.
let's see. We covered pretty much everything. We got Wakanda stuff. Super dope.
I'm loving my phone is blowing up.
Collector.
My phone and my Facebook are blowing up with people finding just like, dude, what the hell? Or what the fuck?
Yeah.
Or what? Or
I posted on the Sneaky Geek Facebook page
Yeah.
to like just get off the internet until you see it
Yeah.
because there's just so much. There's a few people like straight up texted like, "Hey, don't get online.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like just do not do it
Mhm.
because it will. It like I mean people couldn't handle. They can't handle stuff like Game of Thrones for like 2 minutes.
Oh right. Yeah.
You know, the people who read the Game of Thrones book were able to hold shit out and like be quiet about it for like a decade.
Yeah.
And
People have no
people
chill these
on
days.
it's not good. We didn't talk about how freaking awesome Nowhere was.
Yeah.
That whole sequence.
That was crazy.
Where they debut the Reality Stone.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Mhm.
I thought that was.
I was sad we didn't get to see the Collector like for real.
Yeah, he just is kind of.
Because he's a projection.
Yeah.
He's not even really there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was sad that there was no Cosmo.
Or
I would have loved a little Cosmo there.
does that mean Cosmo's dead? Because Cosmo was in the Collector's.
No, he
He
left.
and
walked
Howard
out.
the Duck could be. Yeah, he and Howard the Duck could be.
Yeah. Well, Howard the Duck was with the Ravagers in Guardians 2.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in the bar scene.
Oh, I didn't see
The
that
club
part.
or
That's
whatever,
really
yeah.
cool.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Huh.
yeah. Oh, man, there's so many things. It's just like, with this, what about this? It's like, well, there's a whole nother movie coming out next year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can't believe we have to wait a year.
When it said Thanos will return, like, what
Yeah.
a dick move.
Yeah.
What
This
a
is well
dick
done.
move.
Well played, Marvel.
And then we had that after credit scene with Maria Hill.
Yeah.
Dude, when
finally.
Maria Hill-
God, they finally brought her back.
When Maria Hill, like.
Is that
started
Kobe
fading-
Smulders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
When she started fading, I was like, oh, shit. But at least it's not Nick Fury.
And it's like, oh, no.
And then it starts fading.
Mother. So good.
And then
And then the beeper.
we see the magical
Yeah.
pager.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Or-
like super spaced up. And,
Yeah, sorry, not magical. Techie's pager.
I mean,
But
you
it's
know.
90s, like, so it's like he gave it to her when it was still high tech.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I beefed up this beeper because people use beepers right now. Because Captain Marvel the movie
90s.
is going to take place in the 90s. So she's been gone
it?
for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So who is I don't know. This is one character I don't know.
Okay.
Who is Captain Marvel?
So currently in the comics, Captain Marvel is Carol Danvers.
Mm-hmm.
And she was not the original Captain Marvel. So before her was Monica Rambeau, who was an African-American woman who was Captain Marvel, which is super dope. It was in the 80s. And then before that, there was a guy named Marvel.
Yes.
And Marvel
The original.
is the original. He's the OG. And I think he actually like kind of created a son and there's some other weird shit, but he died of cancer. And so he, like Uncle Ben, can never come back.
Yeah.
And like the ways they brought him back have been really, really cool, but it's not ever the same.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of Captain Marvel is that it's kind of like the Green Lanterns, but like with only one of you.
You know, he's
Actually,
like-
it's more
But
like
no, because they all have separate powers.
what's
And
the
different powers.
dude with the helmet who was in
Oh, and the
he's like
the
got a
early
gold
2000s.
helmet.
Dr. Fate?
He's kind of like Dr. Fate. And there's like multiple Dr. Fates.
Oh,
They're like
okay.
chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the DC universe, it's kind of that
I
same.
played Injustice too, so
Nice. Okay, so he's
I
kind
don't
of
go
like
that far. So like the original Captain Marvel is a Kree, and no, he's half Kree.
is he half Kree, half Skrull?
No, half Kree, half.
No, half Kree, half Skrull is the halfling.
Yes, it's
Sorry.
a Hulkling.
Hulkling, yeah. Okay, so Captain Marvel, the guy, is. I thought he was chosen. Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Who's the one? What's her name? The lesbian girl who hangs out with Moondragon?
Oh, that is Quasar.
Quasar is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Quasar. He's more like Dr. Fate. Okay, so Marvel, Captain Marvel is like old comics. Like,
well, they took Marvel back from DC, right? Because wasn't Shazam Captain Marvel or something like
He was
that?
the original one, but since Marvel,
Well, I think
has
Marvel.
the name of Marvel, they kind of just let it slide.
there's some.
I think
there's
Marvel
some-
hit him with,
there's-
like, a lawsuit or
There's
something
some
like that.
specific rules that they
Yeah,
have to follow with how often they make publishings and things like that.
Dave will let us know.
Dave will let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but Marvel, or Marvel rather, was this Kree. He doesn't have any superpowers other than being like stronger and more durable than humans because he's got Kree physiology, but he is like a soldier for them, which allows him to have like he gets like a unibeam and some magnetism shit and things like that. But he's like protector of the universe because Eon makes him protector of the universe. And he gets this sort of cosmic awareness, which allows him to detect threats and like know where things are going down in the universe, as long as they're important to him for whatever reason. And then he uses that internally, which is what alerts him to getting cancer. That he's getting cancer, and he has like all forms of unarmed combat and extensive knowledge of technology because of the Kree Empire. Like he's just kind of this super badass, but without like the whole. I don't know. He's kind of like low power Superman.
Yeah, that's kind of fair to say. But yeah, so he was around for a bit, and then he actually ended up getting cancer and died.
Yeah.
But in the
Danvers
meantime,
used to be Miss Marvel.
yeah. So she was pretty close with him because she got her powers from some sort of Kree something like radioactive wave. You know how it goes.
There will be an episode on Captain Marvel.
We'll get
our research up.
But she got her powers, which are Kree based. So she actually trained with Captain Marvel. So they got pretty close. There's probably some sort of romantic thing because that's how things typically go in comics. But anyway, so she's around. She calls herself Ms. Marvel. She ends up in a coma for a while because she got in a fight with Rogue of the X-Men. And that's why Rogue has some of her powers. Like she can fly. She's super strong. She got that from Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rogue's like perma powers that aren't sucking powers.
Yeah.
Let's leave that in there.
Yeah.
Just leave it like that.
Her non-power sucking, like absorbing power, but like the ones where she like flies around, has super strength and things like that. That's Miss Marvel.
That's Miss Marvel's power.
So Miss Marvel is now who they're going with for Captain Marvel because Miss Marvel became Captain Marvel, shaved her head and created the Carol Corps.
Yeah.
And life was grand. All of that stuff. I think they're kind of mixing and matching those two stories, like the original Marvel storyline.
Yeah, because Jude Law is playing Marvel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And they also said that they're using scrolls. Like we got
the scrolls back.
I don't know about back, but they made some deal with Fox, who owns the rights to the scrolls because it's under
Fantastic Four, because it's technically a Fantastic Four main villain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they
Super Skrull, right?
The Super Skrull is a mix of the Fantastic Four powers. They probably won't have the Super Skrull in amongst these other Skrulls.
But it sounds like they might be doing a version of the Kree Skrull War.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I still need to read that, but I hear good things.
Yeah.
That's upstairs.
Anyways, so that's kind of the basics on Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel. So that's out next year. That happens in the 90s.
And they're going to have Agent Coulson in it.
Yeah, Coulson lives again.
He's coming back.
Younger. Sam Jackson's in it too.
Nice.
And it should be interesting. They just started filming a couple weeks ago, so there's not a whole lot of info out yet. Not that I'm trying to get a whole lot of info, because I'm kind of over this whole spoiler thing. Like, let me just see the movie as it. But that's a whole nother podcast.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. It is 1 a.m.
It is 1 a.m. We have just watched a movie. It was fantastic. We enjoyed it very, very much.
Good.
I will go see it again. Please go see it if you haven't seen it and decided you wanted to give yourself all the spoilers. So yeah, real quick. Half of Wakanda is dead. Black Panther is dead.
Everybody's dead.
Black Panther is dead. Nick Fury is dead. Maria Hill is dead. Peter Quill is dead. Gamora is dead. Drax is dead. Mantis is dead.
This is probably easier to
is dead.
So, speaking of which, my good buddy Tyler just texted me a little while ago, and he's like, dude, it hit me. Rocket lost everybody. Rocket's the only Guardian left.
Yeah.
Which is so cool because they set him up with that whole captain thing.
The captain role.
He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the captain. Oh, I got to be the captain. Like, and now he's like, they were setting him up to have to step up. They primed him for it now. So I think Rocket's going to have a hell of an arc in this.
I was say his arc in Guardians 2 was my favorite in the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
It was perfect. Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Wait, who else is dead? Spider-Man's dead.
Spidey's gone.
Strange is dead.
Doctor Strange is dead. Is Wong around? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Is Shuri around? We don't know.
Pepper, don't know.
Pepper, we don't know.
We don't know about any of the Asgardians.
If any of them are alive, what's his name?
I don't think the other Wakandan guy died. Did he?
What other Wakandan?
Did War Machine die?
War Machine.
No, he was still around.
War Machine was still around.
Yeah.
Cap was still around. Black Widow was still around.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk was still around. Tony's still around.
Nebula's
still around, which is interesting because Nebula has to be around in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, but we already went to the farm, so I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Who else died? Anybody else that I can think of that I'm not thinking of? Vision's super dead.
That's gonna be interesting.
Vision didn't just fade. Vision died and then got brought back and died again.
Vision, Loki, and Gamora all died not by the finger snap.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah, all those people died.
That's gonna be a huge. That's gonna have a huge impact on future Guardians movies.
So speaking of future ones, even I could see like them doing a semi House of M storyline with Scarlet Witch kind of going crazy with everything.
Oh yeah,
and her switching things up, and even if if they switch around and she is getting the gauntlet instead of Nebula, if she somehow comes back, which could be interesting because she got her powers from the gems. So I wonder if like she has some sort of special thing with them.
maybe.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Her like getting the gauntlet, changing things up, bringing back Quicksilver would be interesting.
Yeah,
or
that'd be really
anybody
cool.
else who died. Well, that starts in more fan theories.
Yeah, we don't want to go into that, or we'll get ourselves excited for something that will never happen.
Nope.
Anyway, all these people died, and then Thanos went to platform 9 3/4, but red, just like Harry Potter did.
Yeah.
And his glove was all fucking mutilated and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, pardon my language, but like, whoa.
That was one thing where, like, he goes away and you kind of feel like he messed up, and then again the gloves all burnt up. You're like, oh, maybe he's okay. Like maybe everything's not but maybe everything's like maybe
everything's gonna be all right. Yeah.
And then everyone kind of slowly starts fading, and then
comes back around to Doctor Strange.
When she turns around and she says, "What did it cost?"
Yeah.
Like I knew exactly what he was gonna say. I looked right at it and I like mouthed the words.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, and that's what happened in Infinity Gauntlet, and that's why he changed things back, and then he went to go retire on the farm because of like he couldn't handle what happened.
Yeah.
He couldn't get his mind around it. So I'm thinking that's kind of where he's at now.
I like
and
the
that
little
kind of
smile that he had. Like, it's simple
like,
things in life.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, that was a good day's work.
Right.
Yeah. So it should be interesting where they go with that.
Yeah.
But also, comics wise, that storyline gets picked up with the
Infinity Crusade.
No. Infinity Watch.
Infinity Watch. That's right.
So eventually the
Adam Warlock and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, Gamora's there. Pip
Gamora, Pip. Pip is funny, but he's super weird.
Oh, he's weird. Yeah.
He'd have to look like Mr. Tutmus. In fact, they should just get Shia LaBeouf.
Perfect. No,
James McAvoy was.
It was. Whatever. They're the same person.
Yeah. But yeah, so like if you guys are interested in like what the hell's up with the farm, go check out Infinity Watch, and that'll kind of give you a better idea of where they were going with that in general, in the comics wise at least.
Yeah.
Which Marvel pulls from anyway, so who knows?
Yep.
So I'm excited because it sounds, again, further qualifier for me being on the show. I haven't read a ton of the actual comic books, so it sounds a lot like it strayed pretty far from. It felt very inspired by the original story, but
definitely. Yeah.
I'm interested to see where Marvel takes it.
They've been. It's so funny because sometimes they move so far away from the source material, and then other times they don't.
It's like spot on.
And
shot for shot.
I think in some cases it works really, really well. Like in this one, it worked really, really well. In Ragnarok, it worked well in its own weird way. Yeah. But like Iron Man 3 was like an abomination it was the extremist storyline, and then it was just, pissed on.
Yeah.
But with this one, like it was very clear they were drawing from both places, but I was not at all sure of what was going to happen.
Oh, not at all. Nope.
There was no amount of comic reading that could prepare me for what was going to go down.
Yeah.
I need to watch it again.
That's why I love the movies.
Kind of understand. Like that's just crazy. Like, are they all gonna? Like, I'm a little worried that they're not all gonna come back.
Probably not. No.
And
they could come back for a little bit, and then something else happens, and then they're out.
Yeah.
We won't know for a year.
I'm hoping some of them have plot armor or like have industry armor. Like I'm hoping they don't kill off Spider-Man after one movie. I hope they better not kill off my man Chadwick. Like that's not cool.
And here's the funny thing about that stuff: like they're contracted for a few more movies, and they already announced Black Panther 2 and Guardians 3 and Spider-Man 2. So they're gonna come back. And in fact, they even said like publicly that Spider-Man 2 is gonna deal with the aftermath of Infinity War. So
his own Iron Man 3 then.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, obviously Spider-Man needs Spider-Man, so Peter's coming back. Black Panther needs T'Challa, so he's coming back.
Well,
Guardians doesn't necessarily
was Black Panther for a little bit in the comics.
Was she?
Oh yeah.
But I think the sad
see that smile on your face over there.
So this is a podcast. Bryce is grinning.
The sad thing though is that Guardians doesn't necessarily need Gamora.
You know what? The original Guardians comic books had nothing to do with the current series.
Oh no, yeah, not at all.
So and you know what? There's been so many other characters in there. Ant-Man's currently a Guardian. Venom was for a while.
Iron Man was. For a while,
yeah. But then we also still had Quasar.
Moondragon,
Oh,
Nebula, Mantis,
was there.
Bug.
A Bug. That's what I was saying.
Awesome. Groot, Rocket, and Star-Lord.
So there's a whole
Kitty
list.
sort of for a little bit.
Oh yeah, Kitty Pryde.
Who's getting married to Colossus.
Colossus pretty soon here.
Which I don't know how I feel about.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We're not talking about this right now. You need to go to bed. So we're gonna get out of here, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
1
so
o'clock
much.
in the morning.
It's definitely past that.
It's 1:05.
Oh man.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the movie. Please send us your thoughts and all of your what the fucks as well.
Yeah, we'll hear those. We'll be right there with you.
Yep. Sneaky Geek at Sneaky Geek Podcast on Instagram, at Sneaky Geek Pod if you still use Twitter, and Sneaky Geek Podcast on Facebook. And you can find Logan over on Instagram at Dr. Professor Lirette. That's Dr. Professor as a word, Lirette, Lirette. And Brian,
very smooth.
That is,
Shield Agent.
I want to go join myself now.
And anyway, you can see all the cool shit that he's doing with his camera. And then Brian's over at Shield Agent BROM and at what are you on Instagram?
That one too.
At Shield Agent BROM.
I don't know. They're just late. I can't.
You're just B-ROM on Instagram.
Yeah, and then I'm at Bryce Rankins. So thanks everybody. I really appreciate you listening, and we love you very much.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time because this is a podcast.